spend some time with the dead.
On demand almost. We'd be like, hey, can you like touch the duck or make it go off? And it would just start lighting up and going crazy.
Why should we be afraid of you?
Hello and welcome to What Goes Bump Tonight. I'm your host, Riley Clark, and alongside me, as always, is
Trevor Jensen.
And today, our special guest is Dr. Shakira.
Better known as the Ancient One.
That's me. What's up, guys? Hey to everybody out there. What goes bumping?
What's going on? Adventures with
Everybody in the
Nubs,
chat,
those
we love you guys.
Creepy Confidential, going to be coming up here in a couple weeks.
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Check that out.
I know we was chatting a little bit before, and we know where you're from, but why don't we'll start with, the basic stuff, and then we'll really get into like the meaty stuff and all that good nitty gritty. So where are you from, and like how can people know you from and whatnot?
Okay. Well, I'm from the southern United States where we are cold, but not snowing. Thank goodness. So pretty much, I'm here. I'm a ghost writer, freelance writer, parapsychologist, philosopher, certified in a lot of things, doing what I do.
Just well-versed as shit. Makes me feel uncultured as fuck.
Not trying to, but
No, it is totally fine. If anything, bravo. Like those are some wonderful accolades, and it's like you probably worked extremely hard. I mean, obviously you did, because you wouldn't be where you are, and obviously you have some very, very, very awesome stories of things that happened to you and whatnot that you've learned. But like, what got you like started in like paranormal stuff? Like what like scratched your itch when you were younger? Like what really made you believe?
Okay. Well, so I have to start from the beginning when I was like 5 years old. That's like the time that I can remember all of this starting. So at 5 years old, I grew up Christian church with my grandmother, my Uncle Clifford. We went to church every day of my life. And I'm still a Christian today. I still hold those values, but I do other religions as well, like meditation, acupuncture, things of that nature. So back to what I was saying. So I grew up in the church, and I would read the Bible, and I would just be skimming through, and I would catch a paranormal activity or an alien or something that wasn't human in the Bible. So I'm like, what is this? Like, this is not anything that is from Earth. What is Ezekiel seeing? And my uncle, he's fire and brimstone revelation slayer. Like, he is straight old school. So of course, whatever I would ask him would be pagan, of course, But I would ask him anyway, like, what did Ezekiel see? Who was that? Like, what is this cloud that somebody went in? So I would question the verses while still grasping the spiritual concept. And so he would be like, brush it off. And I just was not satisfied.
Right.
But then my own abilities would emerge, and I would feel spirits around me, not see, but feel.
Yep.
I would know when someone was about to pass away that I loved. Like, I would get a sign, and they would pass away. Like, I would know ahead of time to prepare myself. I would hear things, see things, and I'm like, what is this? So that's what kind of got me down the road. And then I would hear other people tell me, like, this happened to me. I was abducted. I was, the whole story growing up. And so I knew that I wasn't alone, and I knew that I wasn't crazy, and I knew it was something to it. And the more I read, the more I saw. And then so I started to read other texts, like the Mahabharata and other religious texts, and it was the same thing. Like alien activity, somebody coming from heaven down, or
Yeah.
going into heaven. Like, how did they do that? So I take everything like at face value. I don't take it as mythology. I take it as straight fact, especially if it's in a spiritual text. So if it said he saw something with 8 arms, then I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, you're completely right too. Like the way that some things are described in the Bible and other texts that are of the spiritual concept, it's like, why are you describing it that way? You know, like you could
Mhm.
have said it any other way that has
Right.
made sense and has been like pretty fluent throughout the whole
It-
like text itself.
Not even that.
Mhm.
Almost every single humanoid creature that's been on this planet has had some type of spiritual belief, and it's
Mhm.
always evolved around life and death. What happens before life? What
The
happens
inevitable.
in death? And
Right.
what are the trials and tribulations that you go through during life? Like, why is that? Is it a battle between good and evil? Is it a battle between what's right and what's wrong? Or is it something even more than that?
Mhm. I do think it is a battle between good and evil in a sense. Like the Bible does say that we struggle against energy, and not just flesh and blood. So I do think, not all beings are nice.
Right.
There is good and evil, but it just depends on how you believe and protect yourself, from all of that. But, you do have people that, don't believe. But I feel like unless it happens to you, you probably won't. Or unless you have your own experience. But
Right.
you can't like tell someone that what they saw was not what they saw.
I feel like almost weekly we're mentioning this now with guests that, like, if you're going out and wanting to seek something paranormal, like, or even something extraterrestrial, like, you have to go out in the belief that you're willing to accept what happens. Like,
Right.
you will accept
Otherwise, I
the
feel like you're
energy that you're going to
denying that.
receive. Otherwise, it's almost like two, like,
I think if
positive
we,
magnets coming
yeah, if
together.
we
Like, it's
vibrate
never
on that
going to,
wavelength,
like,
True.
let it happen. You have to be the positive or the negative at that specific, you know, time, and let it come to you. Otherwise, it's just gonna shoot off in another direction and not even like connect
or you
with
might
you at
not
all.
notice it either. Like if you're just
That
like,
too.
I don't want to see anything because I don't care for it, and
Right.
like shit's going on over there. Like, are you really gonna notice it unless you're like, I want to see something?
Right. You're like, I'm gonna go find it. But you have to be careful, because they do what they want to do. They're not necessarily gonna do what you want them to do.
Yeah, I
You
feel like
have to have
we've
some
been
sort of
very
respect.
lucky.
Say that again.
I feel like we've been very lucky between
Yeah.
like being around like like malevolent or like evil things, or like, very like, it seems like most of the time that when we encounter anything spiritual or supernatural, it's like it's very tame compared to what I feel like some other people have experienced.
Oh, for sure. And I feel like I am too. I've only seen like one negative spirit in my life, and it kind of walked up to me and walked away, but I knew it was like not nice, but it never harmed me.
Right.
But I do think there's a lot of people out here that, are bad, and they send bad things to people, so you have to be careful of that as well. Just like, protect yourself the best way you can. I say sage is good.
Yeah.
Any type of burning incense or something is good. You have to, because sometimes they'll follow you. Like I've had people tell me that they've went paranormal places and were followed back. Like, how
I
do you
think
my
we
house?
did.
I don't
I think we have multiple
how I
times.
didn't go to the museum.
And like us saying this, like I said it time and time again before this even happened, that like I wasn't in total belief that a
I
spirit
didn't
had
think it
the
was a
ability
thing.
to like follow me.
Mm-mm.
But like we have learned now that we do have a spirit that follows us. It's not malicious or anything.
Mhm.
Honestly, it's
It's
probably a little
extremely
girl.
innocent. But
Mhm.
and it doesn't come looking for us. Like it waits for it seems like it wants to wait for opportunities for it to like present itself at an acceptable time.
Yeah, or even realistically, we've caught it on multiple investigations. Like the name, it's her name is Mildred. At least that's as much
Oh,
as we know for real. And like we've caught it in multiple times, multiple locations, and it seems to only come around, or she only comes around when we're investigating. So I almost wonder too when we're projecting that energy, because we were projecting that same energy when we found her.
mhm. she might like you guys and like want to hang out. I would
Probably,
acknowledge
honestly.
her. She might be some sort of protection.
And
If she's nice, like I would acknowledge her and
too.
say hello.
Well,
That's a great point. Yeah,
That
like
is a great point.
protection too,
Like-
like a ward.
because we've
Yeah,
kind of
she might be there to protect you. She could be a guardian of some sort. Sometimes they step in from the other world and like help you and protect you. So not all of them are bad. Like the good ones, or sometimes I'll just say like high vibrational beings only. Like
I love that though, 'cause we all do work
like
on
high
vibration.
vibrational beings only around me. I don't want nobody else around me. Everybody else get out. Like sometimes you have to commend what you want from the spirit world, because you do have some sort of control. Like they can't just bombard you. Like you have to control it in some way. I would say I always speak to them, or sometimes if I feel some negative energy, I'll affirm like high vibrational beings only. Like nobody else. So that's like one thing that I do. But if it's like a new spirit like that, I'm like, they could be here to protect me. Who are you? What's your name? So it's good that she's Mildred, so at least you can call her Mildred.
yeah, but that in lies the issue is that cemetery has multiple Mildred graves.
Yeah, so it's kind
in
of
one
like
area, so we don't. They're
we don't
like
know which
within like a
one.
10-foot like square radius. There's all these Mildred graves, and we're not sure
But
exactly
we were
which one it
standing
is.
next
Oh.
we were standing next to a grave when we were like doing our session, and we did get the name Mildred. Well, we're next to a certain one, but it was like an infant, right? If I'm
No,
correct.
other way around.
That was the other way around. Okay,
This one was the adult Mildred, and then the one across from it was
the infant.
the other one. And we were a ways from it the first time it said Mildred. And then we found that grave, and then later in the night we were walking around to that same area, trying to talk to Mildred, and it said Mildred again. And then we looked down, and there's another grave that said Mildred. And we're like, what is going
They're
on?
like, this can't be happening.
But yeah.
See, I would go out there with a pendulum and like swing it. Like, which one of you is trying?
Yeah, we do plan on going back there eventually, because I feel like
we
have
caught
to.
even more evidence too, honestly. Like we caught what looked like an orb fly out of like, was it like the top of the frame, like come swing through like over a set of headphones that were on. I think it was me, down my back and then off screen again. And it's like that doesn't look like a bug. Like we can discern what the bugs look like pretty well. And then we had a couple weird REM pod hits too.
That brings me to my next question. Have you conducted a paranormal investigation yourself, or have you had a chance to, or is it something that you are looking forward to doing in the future?
Oh, you know what? I've never conducted one myself. If I could be with you guys, I probably would do it. But I probably
we got you.
I probably like you have to come here and then I'll go with you guys. I don't know if I could do it by myself. I'm too
I mean, the first time that we went to a big location, I was like, all right, dude, what we doing?
And that was we were in a group too, like a big group.
Wait, so you guys go to the cemetery at night?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That one in particular, we went alone. It was just me and Riley that night. Sometimes there's 4 of us, sometimes there's 3 of us, but if we can, we like to just do me and Riley because like I feel like we work really well together.
Yeah, you guys are cool. Like that's so cool. I would like to do one. I would like to. One day.
Definitely. I mean, Savannah, they gotta have ghost tours down there, don't they?
There's everything. It is a haunted town.
Yeah, you gotta go to one of them.
I'll see. I'm trying to stay away. I try to stay. I don't want to call them, leave them alone. They not bothering me. But
I mean, realistically, all you got to do is I think of it sometimes as a funny way where it's like if you invade like a spirit space because you're just walking into their house, like I'm just gonna be voyeur for 30 minutes. I'm gonna sit here on the couch quietly and if just do your thing, man.
Right,
it's fine.
I can. I don't know, but I do want to do one day. I don't know when, but one day.
Yeah, I will say this too. It is a lot of hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is a lot of nothing.
You have to sleep in places.
No, well, we do.
have.
We enjoy it. I would rather sleep over at a place rather than have to like go all night and then leave really late at night too. Because then I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, either I'm really excited or I'm really, really drained.
Right. And
Uh-uh.
then, the whole driving while you're tired thing, that's a little dangerous.
Yeah, that's like
After
extra.
Paranormal.
We have also gotten like a hotel,
Yeah, we
Probably
usually
that's
will be
a-
responsible.
Yeah.
Please. I don't know. I'm scared right now, but
I feel like it's always like how do you say it, like not hyped up, but like people are always like it's so terrifying, but like realistically I feel like when you do experience your first like knock or like something that just shouldn't happen,
When you're looking
it's
for it.
almost like that curiosity goes, oh that happens, like what is
like
that?
I can't even dispute it. Like there's
Yeah,
no
like
way it
that's
didn't.
what tripped for me was like the wires usually are like, fight or flight, like I gotta run. But then other times it'll just be like, that can't happen. Like that
You
literally
guys have
can't
like that
happen.
machine that goes like crazy and different.
Yeah, and then you like blue screen and it's just like error.
What? So
Yeah,
what's
like
like the scariest place? Look at me now. Now I'm curious to know like the
the
scariest.
one that we've been to, the scariest. Oh. See, like none of them like scared me out. None of the places that we've been to have scared me out of the place. But realistically, aesthetic wise and like the history behind it, the old Lincoln County Jail was probably the spookiest for me.
Yeah, that would say that's definitely like with the aesthetic and like what it was because it was a prison.
And it was extra dark, walking through like cell blocks that look exactly like the other like cell blocks on other
Yeah,
floors.
it's really disorienting
really
because
disorienting.
everything looked the same on
Mhm.
every floor. So like if you were down the middle of the jail cell and you were up there for an hour, you might forget like what floor you were on because
And it was an echo chamber.
there's no
too.
way to tell them apart.
Yeah.
It's
An
paranormal.
overcrowded open air jail, like it is nuts. Like that place is really cool.
And it's one of those things too, is like you drive up to, you're like, whoa, this place
This
is
shouldn't
big.
be here.
And then you go inside and it's even bigger than what it looks like on the it's like this whole paradox in your mind. It's crazy. And then it's all dark and it's even crazier.
I don't know if I have the courage.
But like realistically, the like scariest night, but it wasn't like scary in a sense of like I'm like terrified, poop my pants scary. It was just like this is insane. Like I can't believe this is happening. Was our poorhouse video that's gonna come out soon. Like the amount of like disembodied voices that we heard talking to us the entire night. And then we also caught some of the most clear footsteps I've ever heard on multiple cameras and recorders all at once.
Really? Well,
Yeah, and it was so fascinating.
That we
can't
didn't
wait.
even hear in person.
Wow.
Yeah, and none of us heard in person. Like, what is that? Like how is it audible to the recorders and the cameras, but like to us, like we didn't hear a single sound.
That's crazy. I think the machine goes into like that dimension, or it's able to pick up that sound because we can't hear it. Like we don't always hear it, which I find odd.
Which is another
We're
thing.
like we're in the middle of two worlds almost. Like Earth,
Yeah, like where
and
does the veil stop? You know?
right,
Yeah,
and then sometimes it's thinner. So I noticed that sometimes if it's like a eclipse or retrograde or something, I might see orbs more, or it just depends on what's happening in the celestials, which the ancients knew already. But
yeah,
sometimes
I think
it depends on what's happening up there, which depends what's happening down here.
I mean, shoot, like one day I want to go to Egypt and then, just like go around and investigate there because like realistically, like even like going like to the tombs of the pharaohs and like how did the Egyptians know to put their pyramids in a certain spot for a celestial not eclipse, but like like how all of that lined up so perfectly and they already had their own like solstice calendar and all that bullshit. Like how did they know that?
And like what was the like you might even know actually, like why did they always treat one person as like a god and like do basically anything that this person wanted? Like were they actually not actually like humanoid? You know what I mean? Like was King Tut like,
or the veil was
alien,
a lot like
or like
lighter for them, they got all that extra
figure, like for real? Like is that why?
Yeah.
It just
was like-
confuses me.
I don't know. It's like you got the whole mummy's curse thing. I know it's probably not real, but still.
I mean, the thing.
Never know. But I think that, like King Tut and, all the pharaohs, they were gods, lowercase g. I mean, imagine coming to Earth from another solar system back then. So it's like the ancient times. So the veil was thinner. Imagine coming to Earth in the ancient times and you're smart. You know all the laws of the universe. You know everything. And you come here. You're nothing but a flesh and blood, being.
Yeah.
But we think that you are God because you are smart and you can teach us things that we don't know. And mathematics, medicine, like Thoth and all of them, they were superior beings. Like they knew math, science, medicine, and they brung that here for us. So they were looked at as gods. So I think they were nothing but flesh and blood beings, but they were treated like gods, so they let it ride. I would, who wouldn't,
Right, yeah. I mean, shit.
They're like,
I would not mind that title. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if somebody was like God Trevor, like, it sounds different.
Like Trevor can do magic when all Trevor has is a technology piece in his hand or something.
I got the next microchip, and I'm just
all he got is like some technology because the Anunnakis had on wristwatches. So it's like all you have is a piece of technology, but they think you're doing miracles.
Yeah, like they pull up and they're like, check the rollie, bro.
We already got one, except ours can do all kind of stuff. The
Anunnaki are so fascinating to me because that's what I think a lot of the like truths lie, where it's like I don't think that's a lot of like hoopla. I really put a lot of stock in that.
Like having backing inside of Sumerian ancient text to me that makes it so much more valid than like a lot.
Well, and like looking at like the human culture as a whole, like we're all like innovators. Basically, the human race is always innovating, making it better, and we're all hard workers. Like we are a working colony. Like is what it seems like. Well, what did the Anunnaki want? Our resources. What did they use us for? Slave labor. Like it adds up a lot better than I think people realize.
Kind of does.
Correct. And I do think the Anunnaki race stems further. You could look into ancient Egypt. Like I think that race was like a lot of ancient cultures are from the Anunnaki. That's just my personal opinion. As I do research, it seems like they're all from, not all, but some could have been Anunnaki.
Yeah, especially after learning more and more about it too. It's like it makes a lot more sense when you can start like piecing all of it together with all the different differentiating like viewpoints that you have now.
Like we did a whole episode on the Anunnaki and we tried our damnedest to make sure we did as much research as we could. We didn't realize we had just heard about it.
It is so thick.
It was a fresh topic to us. We're like, wow, this sounds really cool. Like, let's do this.
It is so thick.
And then we started diving into it, and we're like, dude, like,
I can't even
dive in. I always say, go down the rabbit hole.
This story like blows my mind wide open because if you look at today's world and the way civilization is operating, it makes so much sense that this could have been real. Like this actually happened.
And like,
it isn't just
what if
some story.
A lot of like these, and I know this is going to be a hot take, but like these demons and like these like, terrible figures and creatures that people are seeing. What if that's just pissed off Anunnaki? Because like we are not better than them from their eye point because we were enslaved by them basically, at least from what I can surmise from everything. So it's like, well, what if that's what we're seeing too, realistically? And like, yeah, if I saw something that I can't comprehend, that's like a 17-foot tall, like unbelievably muscular, like great-looking being, where it's like, weird, sketchy,
and there's
weird.
Proof of giants.
Yeah, and there is proof of that too. Like that just gets swept
in the Bible. There's twins.
Yeah, and
in the Smithsonian, if I can talk, underneath in their vault archive where they have all the mammoth tusks and stuff, where they just like throw them down there in literally buckets, basically. They have giant bones. We don't hear about that stuff. Why? Like that is fascinating.
Yeah, you have to research it. For one, everyone won't believe it.
Can you get DNA matter from bones?
I mean, bone marrow.
And
But
you know how
heard
you
bone
have to
marrow.
you have to go through a process, but you can get it for sure.
And like
You
we know
can
how to
get
clone.
it.
That's the other crazy thing is they're literally gonna make a mammoth this year.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
They're literally going
Like,
to
I
like
can't wait to see it.
feed
I
it
can't
a
wait to see it.
freaking mammoth.
I honestly, I'm like here for it and I'm not here for it at the same time because I'm like, well, now you have the keys to Jurassic Park, and we all saw the movie. Like, that's gonna be fucking wild when that shit comes to fruition.
When I see a
Isn't that
pictures of
crazy?
snowy Russia and there's just a bunch of Russians around a mammoth, I'm gonna be like, that's Photoshop. There's
Like,
no way.
megafauna, raptors, T-Rexes, like, bro, we've gone too far. You guys are like mad scientists now.
Mad scientists, like
But like, I
mad.
wish I was that smart and I could do that shit because like, if I was on the leading, like, and you know, the team to like cut that like ribbon and be like, yo, we're gonna do this. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in, dude. Like, so in.
I would
Oh
be
yeah,
so
man, if I was on that project, that
man.
would be all about it. Who wouldn't want to recreate Jurassic
Well,
Park? In real
okay,
life?
so like hypothetical for you guys,
I would.
realistically, if at a young age, like 16, you know, like somebody walked up to you in a black suit, you know, like sunglasses, like Men in Black looking style, and he handed you a business card and he said, if you call this card and you want to come work for, you know, like one of the black sites or like something working on some top secret, but you have to like never tell your family where you go and like that's your life from now on, would you do it just to know what is behind those doors?
That's a tough question. Leave
Darn.
everything.
Dude, I've
Would.
contemplated that.
I
It's so
probably
so
would.
intriguing.
What do you think, chat? Chat, let us know. Are you taking the card? Are you taking the business
Are
card?
you, yeah,
Right,
you
I wanna
calling him
know
and
who's
saying like,
taking the
get me on
car.
the plane?
Who is
That's-
gonna go? I
I
don't
think I
know.
would.
I have
I
to
wanna
see.
know.
Like they would have to give me some more information. They'll be mad at me
You
because I
gotta
would be
give me
asking.
just the slightest crumb of nugget, like just whatever is there. Like, what is it?
That's all he would give you. Though.
Yeah, it's just there's the door.
'Cause you
Like,
know,
there's a
like-
door.
Like that's you opening the
Then
door.
it's
you
like,
closing
how
it.
do I get out? Like, can I get out when I'm done? Like, am I stuck? Like, I don't know. Like, I
I
don't
feel
know.
like if it's something so classified and top secret that it's like
Death.
if that it's like you can never leave. Like you live here for the rest of your life, and like if you end up making a family, your family's here too.
Oh man.
I know it's like it's
Man.
I know
Man,
that's like not paranormal as shit, but like also I've thought about that question a
That's
lot.
a real
really
question
question.
because I do want to know what's going. I think a lot of us want to know what's going
Oh, yeah, I
on.
can do it.
I wonder if
It's
the
like
government
we only
knows
get
what's
so
going on
much,
this.
We only get a
Yeah,
video
like-
here or an article there. Like we want to know what's happening.
I wouldn't even doubt that they have like their own wing of paranormal investigators that like just like they have like those goggles you can put on and they'll just like see spirits and shit, and it's just like they've already had that for a long time, and like maybe that's some of the black shite stuff they're working on, and they just don't want to let us cool people have it because they're assholes.
They need to let us in. Like we want to get in. We want to know what's happening. We want to know the deal because when you talk to people, it's damn near like the same story.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the same beings, like they saw the same thing. So it's like, how many people are lying?
Right.
And we already know that the general public isn't going to freak out when they find out it's
60%
real.
of the
We already
public-
did that with
yeah.
aliens, and everyone's just like,
Yeah,
"What?"
I think that we
65
could-
to 70% of people all around the world are accepting of there being aliens now. Like it is just a common fact at this point that aliens probably exist.
Right. Because I think when people say aliens, they think like automatically the grays. But the aliens is anything that's not from here. It can be
a
anything.
microbe. Yeah, it could be like literally a microbe. Like
It can be
is
a bug.
living
It can be anything that's not human or not from this realm. That is an alien. And then a UAP is anything in the sky that you don't know what it is. So it's like a lot of different subjects that need to be addressed. Like who
they throw
are
a lot of funny words on stuff
who
too.
is driving them? I want to know who do they belong to? Like
I think
where
they're
are they
drones, honestly.
They said most of the UAP sightings are like civilian operated by like black site staff, essentially. I don't know what the like terminology would be for someone that does that, a UAP professional. I don't know.
What would
Hey,
they Oh,
I mean, what was the guy that was like an organics material gatherer or whatever that David Grush was like talking to when they did this disclosure like events and stuff? Like
I don't remember
the
any
dude
other names.
legitimately came forward and basically said that he had a position where he had to go and like retrieve organic materials from these alleged crash sites of these UAPs. What is that?
now that's actually cool.
Right? Yeah, like that sounds like a badass job.
That's like
Yeah,
alcohol.
fossils and meteorites too.
Fossils
Yeah,
and
I just
meteorites.
saw
Now
that.
that's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
I mean,
Yeah, it's like
realistically, we know more about the moon than we do our oceans. And realistically, I
We don't
think
know shit
a
about the
lot
moon.
of the like stuff too that happened to the dinosaurs probably is underwater right now. Where it's like, yeah, we see some of like I can't talk today. I literally am stuttering. Tunguska event and like the Younger Dryas event, where it's like those events probably did happen and they ravaged the earth and changed the climates and and changed everything. But realistically, there's probably a lot more mini events that happened that were a lot more centralized to like where we literally just can't reach. Like most likely.
I do believe dinosaurs were here for sure.
Mhm.
There's a
Oh,
verse
no
in the
doubt.
Bible that like skims over them, if
Yeah.
you ask me. I'm like, where did they come from? Like, see, this is the thing. I'm like, where did dinosaurs come from? No one just pulled it out of their behind. Like, where it's here for a reason.
Yeah. It's the same thing as people going like the Holocaust never happened. Like, dude, shut the fuck up. Like there's reasons, bro.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. That. Yeah. See. But then, you always have skeptics. I like skeptics because I like to I like to hear the other side of the story. Like, I don't know if it's the philosopher in me, but I like to hear both sides. Like, I'm always open to listen to someone that don't agree with me because I want to know why.
I agree with that. Like me and Riley had a long debate one many moons ago. Are demons real? And both of us came to the conclusion, I don't know. If somebody gives me credible evidence that proves to me that, demons are a thing, I will probably sway to that side. But as it stands, I haven't been given enough credible evidence or experienced anything myself. So I'm going to ride the fence. Like, not going to deny it, not going to accept it yet.
Yeah.
I think it's energy. I don't know if a demon, but I would say negative energy for sure. Negative frequency, negative, that could probably transform into a negative. If you think of something hard enough, it will manifest, even if it's
exactly negative. That's what I was gonna say. Like, if you go and you think about something, say like Slender Man, and then you put that on the internet, and then that just gains the traction it does, and then now kids are killing other kids.
Bring it to life.
Somebody made that a reality where now it is a boogeyman, and now that lives in people's minds.
Yes, because enough people were scared till it actually formed.
Exactly. Like, and then who's to say that like killing people in a house or an asylum or like somewhere where it is just a cyclone of bad that doesn't just imprint some of that dark energy there to where it can manifest itself into its own like intelligent, home wrecking self. I don't think it's that far out of the realm of realities.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yep. I think it's like all energy. Nikola Tesla told us, if you want to find the secrets, think of energy. I wouldn't say I just think of it like good energy, bad energy, evil energy, good energy. I look at it like all energy. And if someone is being evil, I'm like, okay, what evil is in them, on them? Because I know it's not them.
Like what's the ick? Like where is the ick?
What did you do? What did you conjure up? What did you think? Like it's always energy to me. So sometimes I'm not mad at the person. I'm mad at the energy.
I agree with that, where it's not always like somebody's character to do certain things. Like if you get affected and it's like not you being like the asshole, like I do think that actually happens quite frequently.
Right. Depending on your thoughts, you could have thought it. So that's why it's important.
You can totally be influenced on outside energies that you don't even realize that like are affecting you because you can't see them, but your body feels them, like it attracts them. Like if you're already feeling kind of down in the dumps, you're probably going to attract those types of energies to you because you're already at that wavelength.
You have to like get yourself out because the more you stay in the dumps, the more you're conjuring up and manifesting. So you have to like get yourself out as soon as possible. And plus, when you're down, you give the other negative energies room to come in. So it's like you have to keep your vibration high to keep all evil and negativity out, even though it's still going to come, but it won't affect you. So it's like, yeah, I look at it like energy. Like, oh, look at your energy. If you know me, I say it all the time. Like, what is the energy?
Well, I mean, like, we believe it hardcore because I know we've talked about it before too. Sure, like everything on a molecular basis is a vibrating, particle basically. So everything is vibrating.
Live
Everything
and
is
real.
creating energy from that motion too. So everything that we're built out of, everything that is around us has matter, has atoms, has molecules, and all of those are vibrating too. So like maybe it is all frequencies and vibrations. Like maybe that's really what the key is, and that's what creates energy. Where it's like, oh, you unlock that key that door with that key, and now you have like a ton of different options. Where it's like, oh, so maybe this residual energy is just being imprinted because of this, and this intelligent spirit is just hanging around because they want to.
I'll piggyback off of that because like this is something I think it's kind of became like a trademark on the show. Like people everywhere, we all carry this like energy around with us. We'll just keep using that word, but like say someone walks into a restaurant, we use this
I flipped a chair in this exact analogy.
The restaurant's got a good vibe in it. People are getting their food on time. People are happy. People are having a good drink, and it's good vibes. The kitchen's really vibing, and they're on. They're not fucking up.
They got Creed playing in the back.
Yeah. Can you take me higher? They're singing. Like it's a great time in the restaurant. But then you have an individual walks in. They're very foreboding. They got a different presence around them. Well, the energy in the room is going to shift because now all of that positive energy has just been disrupted by someone with a different energy coming into the situation. So they erupt and they do something crazy. They start yelling at
you get my fucking salad right.
Yeah, you fucked up my salad. And they're flipping chairs and they're doing all this crazy shit. The entire mood of everyone in the room is going to change, whether it's like a questionable thing. Some people's energy might be I'm going to step in. It's going to alter between every single individual in that room. So like
spirits do it.
I feel the same thing about like spiritual energies. So like someone that carried a negative energy with them most of their lives, if their energy does stay on this plane or even in a different plane that we don't comprehend, like if that comes across your energy, you're going to feel the sensation of that. Like you might feel the negative effects, but you don't realize you are. In your thoughts a little bit more. You might be looking at the people you're investigating and you're like, I don't really like when they do that. When normally you wouldn't even care. Like that type of thing. It could be that little to where you don't even notice it, but like it's an outside.
It affects you deeply. Like one bad thing can like throw you off, and also other people's energy, especially if they're close to you.
Yeah,
you can pick theirs up too.
If you're an empathizer, for sure.
If you're an empath, and I am, so it's like I have to always make sure that I'm not picking up, especially if you're close to me. I love you so much. I might pick it up, but now I can distinguish what's mine and what's not. But yeah, it's like all energy, good, bad, evil. It just depends. And like you said, it's kind of like if you wake up in a bad mood and then you get out of bed, hit your toe, go to the bathroom, the whole curtain fall down, everything's just a mess, and your whole day is a mess. Until you go to lunch, you
get your coffee. Food, you're like, man,
you're okay. Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people understand energy. I think it's like a new concept for us, as a civilization.
I think a lot of people think it's still taboo for some reason, where it's just like they hear the word energy and they're like, "You hippie."
I know, like, what are you talking about? What is it? I'm like,
this hippie dippy bullshit. Go smoke another hippie stick, you goddamn loser.
You know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Especially when you get to talking about like good energy, bad energy, demons, devil, like people, like it's like they check out. Like, what are you talking about? But I agree. I don't think necessarily demons, but I do think negative energy could possibly transform into a demon energy, whether it's evil or just depending on what energy they're in, because you can conjure up negativity just by thinking it every day.
Yeah, and I mean, look at like serial killers and stuff like that. If they go and they're like, I have unfinished business, or like, I still am having fun. Yeah, I would probably put my money on the fact that they're going to continue in death what they were doing in life, which is absolutely terrorizing.
Oh yeah.
Which to what extent that is, we don't know, because we don't know what paranormal like entities are able to do realistically, because it seems like there's a lot of hit or miss. Like you'll get poltergeist activity, you'll get sounds, you'll get things like getting knocked on and shit.
The sensation of being touched.
Yeah, like we can't differentiate all of those into just the same category, because I feel like it takes a lot of energy to do any of those for sure. But it's like,
yes,
do they even know what the fuck they're doing, or are they just like, come on?
I think some of them do know, because they've been like passed on for so long. They just have had time to mess with people. But then some of them honestly don't think that they're dead. They think they're still here, like they haven't been sent away to the light. So they're still like on earth, like they're still alive. They haven't realized that they've died. So it's like that's why you get
what is this ascension when we die? Like what is the transition? Like what is it? Like what does it look like? How does it feel? Like nobody knows.
I don't know. What I hear, it's like a big orgasm. I don't know. That's what people say. Like they went to like when they went to the other side, it was like a good orgasm.
Yeah, where it's like you get that real heavy release of dopamine and like serotonin all at once.
It feels good. Like you feel like your worries are gone, like a big orgasm.
Yeah, like that. I don't think that's very far off of the realm of like really like what's happening. And then like if you just like wake up in this like pseudo realm where you're still where you were, but you can't interact with people, you're like, holy fuck, wow, I came so hard that I'm in another reality.
Like, where am I? Like what did I do? Like, and you're like, God.
That was the what if dream of my entire life. I really don't think it's that out of the realm of like reality. I think Bigfoot could also be an alien.
I think it's
so.
more.
I mean, that's what I've heard. Like when I talk to people that have near-death experiences, they say it felt like they had a orgasm that they've never had before.
Crazy.
See, I think it's probably a lot like a DMT trip.
Yeah, DMT definitely.
Yeah, you're just like, la, la, la,
like you don't, because like that makes sense, because like
it's weird.
When I was a younger person, I experimented with things.
When we partied,
and I did do DMT once, and like what I remember from that experience is that it was like I didn't even realize that I had went anywhere. But like in my head, and what I remember is not being present where I was. Like my eyes were open,
like
I was
somewhere else,
sitting where I was. I was completely somewhere else. I like to explain it to everyone. And it's very, very, very difficult to explain with words, because I can see it in my head, but I can't really put words to it.
It's extremely hard
but
to say.
I seen colors, and I heard sounds, and I felt things that I
like things were manifesting for you that like you didn't perceive, like, you know what I mean? Like your brain usually has a track, and you can feel the track, and you can like manifest the things that you want to see while you're thinking about that stuff. But like to me, the same thing when you're saying how like DMT was just like a lot of like, what is this? Like it just kind of you're just there, and it's just happening, and it's like it is such a weird perspective.
There's no concept of time within that
time
that it happens. Like I'm not advocating the use of drugs.
Drug use is probably bad for most people,
but I'm just sharing my experience, because I think there is some value to it, because
like
the chemical does release in your brain when you die.
Yeah,
that is scientifically proven, and it is released when you are dreaming.
Yep.
So like it's just this weird, like, I don't know. It's just like the only thing in my head that I can think that it could be like.
Yeah, because I always like to think like we're gonna get all the answers to the universe, and we're gonna have no shackles. We're gonna be able to go and do whatever we want, wherever we want. But then like to hear like no reality probably will set in. It's just like you creamed your pants, You felt really good for a minute, and now you're just here, and you got to figure the fuck out.
Right. You're just like,
that might be
where
reality.
am I? Like, I would want to fly around a little bit. Like, don't send me
I
to the
know.
light. Let
Well,
me
and it's
go
like,
around.
I've cashed out many a time too. So like when you get that like shut off button and then you get brought back and time is gone, like, and you start perceiving things again, it's like, oh shit, like this is weird. But at the same time, you know, like your brain is still trying to comprehend what it missed. So like if
Right.
you die, like is your brain just the entire time trying to comprehend the fact that like you just lived a full life and now you're just here again?
Now, what I heard was they like once you pass, orgasm happens. You're taken into some, you're taken into some realm, and a lot of people say that it's loved ones are there and people are happy, and a lot of people don't want to come back. They want to stay there.
Right.
Seriously. They want to like stay in the afterlife. So when they come back to Earth, they are pissed. You would think that they would want to be with their family and their friends, but they want to go back, which is crazy to me. Like, wow, they want to
Yeah,
go.
sometimes I feel like I'm being tortured here. And it's like,
Yeah,
it's not that
they're like, I'm
bad.
not even scared to die. Like, I'm straight. Like, I know when I die where I'm going, and I'm good. Like, he could come.
Yeah,
I
and
can
it's
die
like,
now.
shoot,
Like,
you give me if you give me like a no time limit, like free schedule.
man.
Oh, I am so happy.
But they do
I've
say
heard
that you
theories
keep the
too
same
about that.
consciousness. Like, who you are right now is
Mm.
who you'll be in the other side. Like, nothing changes. Like, you're just not in this human form no more, but you're still the same person.
Yeah, and I've heard theories and concepts that like death could be a lot like while you're living, you're preparing for your life in the next realm. So like,
So you're building your nest here in order to go to your next nest? Oh shit.
so
Well,
like,
the ancient Egyptians thought that. That's
yeah,
what
that's
they
what I've
thought
heard. Yeah.
afterlife.
That's a really, really
Ba and
interesting.
Ka. Like Ba, I always get them mixed up. But Ba and Ka is like your life here. And then when you die, your consciousness. So they believed in that. And that's why the
Like-
Pharaoh, King Tut, has all this stuff in his tomb because he needed that to go to the afterlife. The afterlife is very important in ancient
Yeah,
Egypt.
the most important, even any of the ancient civilizations, like the
All of them.
Mayans, like they
Yeah, I
valued
was gonna
death
say, I'm
more than they
everyone does.
valued
More on
life.
death than life almost.
I mean,
They
look at
did,
our
100%.
funeral
They were-
services and stuff like that. We also are, I wouldn't say glorifying death, but like we're holding these ceremonies and stuff for when people pass.
Mhm.
Every iteration outside of like animals, they don't mourn the death, like, like stand over their
Animals do
bodies.
mourn the death, though,
But like in
more
different ways than I guess we do, most
because
likely.
I do hunt, and so I have killed animals, and I've seen how they react to death. And I shot a doe, and another deer had seen this deer die, and like stuck around, and like would nudge it, and like do all this stuff, like get up, we have to go, like it's not safe here. What are you doing? And be like, and not leave even after I'd recovered the deer and everything. Like still be in the area, like watching over the animal that it valued, obviously. And like it's sad, like it hurts my heart as a hunter to witness these things and experience these things, and to like see life leave the eyes of any being. Like, yeah, crows do this, monkeys mourn
sure.
death. Like it's wild. Like
That's so true. Vikings for sure.
elephants, yeah, like it
They're
happens
almost
more
alike.
in nature than you realize it.
Yeah, it is actually really oddly like familiar how like if you look at different religions and different groups and cultures, how they all very, very similarly will all like grab like it seems like a little bit from each other, but then maybe
It's
they
almost
didn't
like
have.
it's the same person. Like I have a joke going, like a philosophy joke, like they're all the same person. They just went. I always look at it like, okay, like you might have a nickname with your mom, you might have a nickname with your dad. I feel like sometimes when you're reading, it's the same person. It's just kind of like when they went to China, they were given a Chinese name. When they went to, South America, they integrated with society and was given a South American name. But when you look in history, they all have the same story. Horus and Jesus' story is almost the same.
I said
like
the story
same
of Horace
person,
is literally
different.
identical.
Yeah. I don't know how true that is, but I'm researching to see.
It like it's eerily similar. Like you have to like do a little bit of like doing the yarn back and forth, where it's like, okay, you can draw the distinctions easily, but like you have to kind of get led into that direction a little bit. But then when you
Yeah.
follow the string, it's like that makes a lot more sense now. But like the distinctions are there. Like it's not you can't deny it.
Oh, absolutely not. And it's like now we have more information. Like 20 years ago, you knew nothing. You had to just, I don't even
History itself has to be rewritten
all the
almost
way.
every single year because everything is forever changing. Like the things that we thought that we got taught that we thought were correct are so wrong now. It is not even funny.
And then the more you know, the more you have to learn. So it's like I can take a subject down to the ground and I'm still wanting to learn more. It's we know nothing. It sounds
That's
we
paranormal for me.
just search it. We just tap the surface.
Yeah, like it's literally. I always say like paranormal hunting is probably the best way that I can distinct it towards anything else. Where it's like it is like slapping your veins and just injecting it straight in because you can only catch the rabbit once because it feels or that unicorn, and then after that you're chasing it the whole time. When you get that one night where it's like I can't, dude. Like what was that? You chase that every time you go again.
Yeah, for us, I know it's definitely the mouse cemetery experience because
Unexplainable.
we always touch on this, and I'm sure our listeners probably hate that we do this. But I'm just kidding. They
We run
probably
it
love
back
this.
at least
But like
twice a week.
that's the moment that like in my life where I was like,
it changed everything.
holy shit! Like there's so much more to this paranormal stuff than I even realized.
Like how are we catching two apparitions in two different photos? And one of the photos that my wife took, she took multiple in the same spot, and the thing moves through it. So it's not like she was moving; the entity was moving. And then when I took one too, I got a complete full body apparition as well in a different spot, but a different apparition. We're out in the woods. We're getting spikes on our milligauss readers that are like nuclear bomb levels of like, energy just pockets. And it's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's like throughout the whole night, it was just weird anomalies like that we just could not write off as just being an anomaly.
And you couldn't like say that it didn't happen. You couldn't.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah. And then you couldn't replicate it.
I love evidence where you just can't dispute it.
Yeah, and then you cannot replicate it is the funny part too, because we've been back many times and there has not been one night that was that active. Ever
not
again.
even close.
Really?
Yeah, and then it begs the question, what was it? Was it the moon phase? Was it the heat lightning storm that we were also investigating in? Was it just the time of night we were and like the day and the month? Like we don't know. It's so hard to like discern.
All of that. Especially if it was like a moon phase for sure.
I also think too that I think some of what had to do with this was the anticipation of the night.
Yeah, it was one of our first like investigations of that year for real. And we were all like, let's go and do an investigation. And we were like just giddy as all hell. And we stepped out of the car and not even 30 seconds later, we hear,
oh man.
And we all looked at each other and we're like, you heard that, right? Like, like one of those like heard it moments. I'm not gonna say anything about it.
We all just like,
hold on,
I hope everybody else heard it.
You gotta confirm for me that I heard.
Wow, it's so much. How do we even? Are you guys gonna look for Bigfoot?
Yeah, I think eventually, like there's been a few of our close friends now that we've talked to on past episodes that are telling us, they really want to go hunt Bigfoot, and we've been very hardly advocating for the fact that he is real, most likely, and that he lives in some very, very dense forest, and we have a very, very nice dense forest here in Marquette, and Manistee and Marquette area. I would say if you go, I know if you go that area too, though, like there's two good pockets of like squatch hunting like territory, if you ask me.
See, I'm too scared. I can't go. I'm too scared. They say he is huge. And then you have the question.
Is he intelligent or is he primate like in intelligence? So like
I think he's intelligent.
I do too. I honestly think he's an alien. I think that's why we don't find the remains for him.
Yeah, he disappears too. Like he'll be
Supportive,
running, disappear, and you're
interdimensional
like,
being.
where
Yeah,
did he
he
go?
just goes, "Beam me up, Scotty," and he's just
hmm
gone.
I think he's intelligent, and I think he can like be. I don't know what it's called, teleport, I guess, where he can like run in different places and be different places
Mhm.
where he needs to be. Like he can watch you, but you can't watch him. Like he knows what you're doing.
Yeah, like
Well, all
Predator.
the
Yeah, like
cameras
almost
are on
like
him.
remote
Predator. Like
view
he can just
too.
like go invisible if you'd like to.
Yeah.
And then
He's an
sometimes
alien.
like he forgets that he's not invisible. And
It's like he get caught
Or
up in
like he's got to drop his cloak when he's got to take a
because
shit.
I mean he's
yeah,
always in the Pacific
yeah.
Northwest. He's probably like hitting all the weed fields, like smoking all the weed, and then he's like, "Oh shit, that's right. People aren't supposed to see
Here
me."
they come. Oh shit! But I think
Or
it's
like
more than one. It could be like
yeah,
hundreds.
I think it could be different species too. Like if realistically, where it's like just a very highly intelligent primate that's
Mhm.
lived
I
since a
think
very long time ago, that
yeah.
has some type of thing going for it that it's not being found.
Like even think about it, but even if it was Gigantopithecus, like it's been around for it would have been around for like
A
gosh,
million years.
oh close, gotta be close to a million
More
years.
time. Yeah.
How
I think
the
I think
evolution over that time would make it so intelligent, like it would have seen everything.
everything. And he knows like what we're gonna do. Like we're actually
Mhm.
not smarter than them. That's the funny
Mhm.
part. We think we are, but they have all the technology and the knowledge. Like they know everything. They know the laws of the universe. We're like, we don't know as much as they know.
I mean, shit,
We
he
don't
might
even
be the
know
moderator because like we're living in like a TV show simulation, like the Truman Show, and like
Mhm.
little did we know, there's a whole species of alien Bigfoot that are like literally watching us on TV because like as their entertainment, this is reality television. So like you got to send them in, to like go fix a wire or something way out in the forest. Who's gonna find the wires in the ground out there? Nobody.
Nobody. They know how to clean it up. Like they know how to. I don't know. I don't even know, but it's crazy because Alaska is also super paranormal. Like
Yeah, that's the
I
fourth kind.
see
That
a lot
movie
of
has me
stories
shook.
out of
Yeah,
Alaska. Yeah.
the Fourth Kind movie. Oh gosh, if you
Like
haven't
that
seen
whole
that,
abduction, like they literally have it documented so well in that fourth kind. But like when you do your like actual diligence and you look up the story of the lady, it's like holy shit, like they legitimately just chalked her up to being like a bad mom crazy. Like she lost her
Mhm.
kid because she was like having like mental breakdowns. But then you follow like the cookie crumb trail of like the actual shit that was being told and she was experiencing. And it's like, what the fuck, dude? When you're going under I literally have a lisp today. Like when you go under hypnosis and you have a physical reaction where you're like breaking lamps
Mhm.
and like breaking your back
Mhm.
basically, and then you go anemic and completely like just like miasmic basically, where it's like, dude, you have like a disease, but you've just seen some shit, like, and it shook you that hard, like, whoa.
yeah, another story that gets me too. I had to look up their names because I
Oh,
couldn't
Betty
remember
and
it.
Barney.
The Betty and
Oh my!
Barney Hill
What
stories
about
are like the first like alien abduction that was like
The time
reported.
loss too, like, what is that?
I have their whole words transcribed on my blog. Like I've researched them down to the ground. I don't even think I can research them anymore. Their
Right?
story is very interesting,
They had
especially
no
There's
reason
no
to
gap.
lie.
There's no gaps in their stories
Yeah,
whatsoever.
they were credible people all the way up until the abduction. They were
yep.
very well educated. They were smart people. They
Mhm.
were innovators, if you ask me, for being a biracial couple. And
Mhm.
what reason did they have to fucking lie?
They did
None.
not. She even drew the map where they were from. She drew the map. They were grays.
I- And
Like
like the
she know.
detail,
Yeah.
the detail was
It's
just like,
horrifying. Like if you listen to it, listen to them tell the story, I was screaming with them. Like it's
mhm.
traumatizing what they went through, and
And
it's
like the way
crazy.
that they
They
describe
did
the
the same
sound that
thing.
the craft made too, it's like you when you hear people recount their stories that aren't just complete bullshit, they
Mhm.
say they hear almost something close to that. But everybody does perceive things differently. But it's like when you can find the words to describe it correctly like that, yeah, that's pretty ominous. Like
and
that's spooky.
and didn't they like go to like a scribe artist, or they both describe the same exact features and same exact thing, and they hadn't even spoken to each other since the incident. So there's
Same.
no way they would have been able to even relay that information to each other, other than
So
if it was
weird.
actual fact.
Now Barney did not want to talk about it anymore. He was through. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I probably would be too, honestly.
he was getting sick. So he was like, to hell with this. I'm through. I don't want to talk about it no more. But Betty was like, no. And she was a pioneer all the way until she died. Like,
Yeah.
she believed it. Like, she believed that they were abducted. She can tell you the whole, like, I think there's a documentary, I want to say, on, if you have Discovery Plus, of them. It's very,
Watch that one. Yeah.
you should watch that. And also watch Travis Walton. His story is good too.
Oh
He
yeah.
just
Oh yeah, the
got
Travis Walton story is interesting as
Travis
shit
Walton was a
too.
very interesting
Didn't they
story.
make Fire in the Sky because of his story?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah,
He
that
has a good story too.
once again, why would he have a reason to lie while he's logging out in the woods? Which
I mean, but
you
keep in
already
mind
see
his friends was with him when he was abducted. They were there.
and
Like,
they ran, and he stayed.
They thought he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
They thought
Yes.
he was
Well, and
dead.
then when he got dropped off too, like he just walks into a gas station
and make a
days
call.
later.
Like,
Yeah,
come
like
get me.
days later.
And what
Same
happened to him is horrifying. He tells his story too. Like, it's horrifying.
Yeah, and it's vivid recount. Like you can literally hear him talk about how he was walking through the ship, describing everything, and it's like that's super fascinating to me because if you look at the Valiant Thor,
Yeah,
stuff
about the
too.
Valiant
It's
Mhm.
like that. It is interesting that the fact that the abduction rate went up after Valiant Thor met with our government,
Oh
and
yeah.
then you have accounts coming forward now of people saying like I was abducted, and I was like experimented on, and I have vivid recounts of this like
for
deep into
sure.
my psyche.
Yeah, and there's actual
Hmm.
I think there's one picture of Valiant Thor. No one, it's like the only, there's tons of like high public figures in this photo, but
Mhm.
nobody knows who this one guy is.
Yeah, nobody can pick out who
Hmm.
Valiant Thor is. Like it's almost like they misdirected you on purpose.
Could be. Could be.
I think it's so fascinating though, because like I don't think it's that once again it's that out of the realm of possibilities that there are aliens already integrated into our societies. I
For
really
sure.
don't think it's that wild.
For sure. I mean, but now we have star seeds on Earth. We're all
Yeah.
from places. Everyone is like learning their celestial roots now. It's a different time in history. I know I probably do sound ancient, but back in the
learned about
day,
moon water. I was like, what is that?
yeah, moon water is good.
I don't remember this.
Look, I
Oh
can see
shit,
the chat.
that's hilarious. We were doing a live stream. We were talking about Valiant Thor, and like we had just did our episode on it, and we were talking about it again.
Oh,
And then
wow.
Valiant Thor came up in the YouTube chat, and I don't know who made that YouTube account because he had to do it quick, and that was on the fucking money.
What?
Yeah,
I don't know.
pretty
It could
weird.
have been him. Like, I'm just saying, like I tell people, everything you can imagine is real. Like, I think the veil is lifting. I think in like maybe 5 to 10 years, I think it'll be
I
like
think we have a first encounter event within the next 10 years. I think we see a craft land and somebody makes their first contact.
But then it'll be people that say that that's not true. It's like, how do you
Exactly.
what are you gonna do with the skeptics that say, like, there's people that do not
The
believe
Miami thing that just happened.
I don't believe the Miami thing is fucking aliens though. I think that's all fucking stupid. I think it was a bunch of kids with fireworks.
I don't know, dude. I seen some pretty wild
Dude,
videos.
if you see the same videos I saw, it's the grainiest bullshit I've ever seen. It's worse than the one with the fucking
Wait,
tractor.
so enlighten me. I have been in research and
There
studied
was a
too.
massive police presence downtown Miami, right? Or Los Angeles. Which one was it? Miami. And there was
Okay.
like over 400 cop cars lining the streets in front of the mall. And people are starting to say like they saw like 8 foot tall, like, non-humanoid biological creatures being escorted out of the mall, basically.
Really?
And that they were aliens walking through the mall of Miami. And I was like, come on. And people have been taking, videos of like the streets and stuff and like zooming in on it really close. And they're like, look at that blob. That is the alien. It's
What
like,
about
no.
what about the
The
jellyfish?
jellyfish
crab?
is have you seen the jellyfish from Iraq?
No.
All right, we'll
I
show
need
you right now. This is
Show
fascinating
me
as
the
fuck.
jelly. Let me see this. This
I'm
is
gonna
from
keep it-
Iraq. Okay.
Yeah, this
I'm
this
gonna
is
keep it
straight up
muted
from our
though, so we don't
military.
get copyrighted.
Okay.
Yeah, this was unclassified recently by our military, where they show this weird craft in Iraq. Like, what is it? It's literally floating there, and then when it changes colors, they're changing the temperature on it too.
Why does it look
Those
like a
infrared.
robot or something to me? Like, why does it look like
looks
a
like something straight out of,
transformer?
yeah, it looks like it literally looks like what is it? District 9. Like
Right.
those like alien like insectoid creatures. Like,
Yeah, it looks like a being or a extraterrestrial. It doesn't look like a it doesn't look like a vehicle or anything.
Mr. Creep, it's a floating llama. You got it, dude. You got it. That's the
I
best one
love
I've heard yet.
military videos because you can't, argue with them.
Yeah, like to this day, like I've always gone back and forth. Like, are UFOs actual creatures that we're seeing? So like these flying saucers and shit, are these like manta rays of the cosmos? And then we're seeing, like these, I don't even know. I guess jellyfish is a really good way of saying it. But like you can see the dogs in the background, how they're like discolored because the infrared. But then that changes its color, like, and it shouldn't.
And it's going really fast.
Yeah, and it begs the question, like, what is it and why is it doing that?
Wow.
And people are gonna be skeptical and say like that's bullshit, yada yada yada.
It's like, why is it not a color? Like, it's like,
yeah. And I mean, I guess like, yeah, Mr. Creep's right. It could be somebody took a drone and then like put a bunch of shit on it and made it look funny.
But how does the temperature change all?
And
all
why
at the
is
same
our
time?
military going, what is this?
Exactly. Why is the military just,
UAP?
like?
'cause it's like everything in our airspace for sure. Like everything in our airspace.
Yeah,
it's
I don't think that there has been enough people coming forward in our military that probably have stories that are being told, like you are on the silence list right now because what you heard is going to be top secret.
That's not even new
or the
footage.
Men in Black came to see him. Like, you better shut up.
Yeah,
So
like
The
you
video
can't
was
tell
taken
me-
in 2018.
Exactly, and now we're just seeing in 2024. Interesting. Or a lot of our Navy sealsmen, sails, like the sailors. I cannot talk today. Holy shit,
Words
are
are
so
hard.
fucking hard. But like, you are out at sea in a vast ocean that covers most of the earth, and you are miles and miles and nautical miles away from anything else living outside of what's underneath you or above you. You're gonna see some shit. I don't care what you.
Christopher Columbus did.
Yep, you don't get noise pollution. You don't get light pollution. You get raw, crystal views.
I think in the mountains too. I saw UFOs in the mountains.
Yep. That's another thing too. Is like if you can get somewhere without light pollution and you just look up, I bet you see something that you don't expect.
Just look up. Just look up. And we always argue. Like my husband and I, we argue all the time. Because he'll be like, that's not that. He'll be like, that's not. But then I have to.
Starlink.
Like, nope.
Starlink is crazy the first time you see it, though.
Starlink fucked me up the first time I saw it.
First time you see Starlink, you'll be like, aliens! And then you'll be like, oh, no.
There shouldn't be a daisy chain of lights moving through the sky. Oh, wait.
That's just Elon.
Yeah, especially the ones that I see where they split. Like, it'll be 1, and now it's 4, and now it's 8. And now
the ones that like defy, when you see like the trailers and then they'll start doing like the zigzags and then like the loops and stuff, and you're like, comets have a linear path. Bugs are not millions of miles in the sky, and they don't get that bright, and they aren't relatively the size of fucking commercial planes.
They are
like
huge.
Begs the question, what am I seeing?
What am I seeing? What is it? But then it's like you always try to reason it off. But I know, like, if I see a UFO, I'm used to it now. But first it was like, what is that? Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
what-
I mean, I think
See,
I immediately
I
was
do
like,
have
not
something.
real.
My sister has a great story of
Oh, dude, her story's crazy.
a potential
Oh.
UFO sighting, but potentially something more than that. So our family was on a family vacation down to Key West.
Mhm.
Tragedy warning.
Yeah, this is a very morbid story.
I like it. Keep going.
They obviously Key West full of canals, and a lot of the houses are on the canals. So they had rented an Airbnb on a canal, and they were sitting out by the fire, like out by the water, just
Would you say
watching
like
the stars.
30 feet off of the water line, basically?
Yeah, within
Yeah.
within that. I don't know the full details of that,
But like close, you know what I mean? Like close enough to
close
see
enough.
across.
And they didn't hear anything or anything. They'd seen the guy across the way out on his dock and just kind of continued with their stargazing and things like that. And a short while after, they had seen my sister described it as an orange ball of light come from the house, and then other balls of light come to where that ball of light was and kind of like circle each other. And then they all just took off together. And then an hour or so passed, and cops showed up to the house, and they started walking around the docks, and they were shining their flashlights in the water, and they ended up finding the guy across the water had fallen into the water and drowned.
Yep.
And my sister thinks it was his spirit meeting some other spirits and them taking
being
him
led off
to the light.
Oh, she could be right.
Yeah, or aliens.
Or it could- that could be
Man
part
had
of
an
it.
encounter.
But that, yeah, and it 100% could be like aliens are actually like coming to like bring us to this next reality where they can come and go from, because they aren't like one-dimensional beings, or however we perceive this. Because realistically, like if you look at like dimensions on like a just like a normal one dimension, two dimensions, you fold that again, you get 3 dimensions, fold it again, now we're in a 4th dimension. And like what if they're just next dimension over? Like that's what happens when you move on, is you go to the next realm.
You just in another time period, another realm. Like,
and then it's like that realm is actually here existing with this one, but it's on that axis that we have no clue is there.
I do think that it's like 3 realms, that we don't know. Like, I would say like
my money on the Vikings, man, or not Vikings, the Norse mythology, and like having like Valhalla, and like Jormungandr is like the world serpent, and that we have what is it, like Elfheim and like Helheim and places like that, where it's like, yeah, those realms might actually exist, but like it's not how we think of it, as being like, like those, like it is a heaven and a hell. Like, no, what if it's literally just a different plane of existence that you can jump from, like you can pond skip from these like these realities,
right? Like you just go to another reality. Like you're not here no more, you're somewhere else now. But some people can come back. That's the thing. Like when my father passed and we had his funeral and I was at home by myself, he woke me out of my sleep talking to me clear as day. And you could not tell me that was not my father. He told me to call my mother and give her a message, and I did. And I was crying, and she was like, "What's wrong with you?" But then it's like sometimes he'll come in my dreams, but then sometimes I don't see him again for years. So it's like, how do they come back and forth? Is what I would like to know. Like, how do some of them come back, some don't?
It probably has to do with the kind of energy. Like they can sense when they need to come visit you because of the energy you're putting
well,
out
like
there.
think about it too, like you get like the ring in your ear if somebody's talking about you, or like you get like the itch on your hand where like somebody said something about you type thing, where it's like I do think that stuff happens more often than we think, but we don't like discern that it is what it is.
I think some paranormal would just break down religion. It's like if you really like took the Bible, not saying not to understand the spiritual concepts, of course, but if you pay attention, you will read into like there's so much paranormal, aliens, vehicles, all kind of stuff in the Bible, and this is a religious
Mm.
book. But when you try to tell people, they don't. I'm like, it's right there,
Right.
like right
Well, and
there.
it's like even if you aren't religious or spiritual in your own right, like it's still a text. Like there
Mhm.
still is information in there that you can derive from it.
And that's
And
not
like
even
you
the only one. Like there's other
exactly, like
books.
you could still be like, well then are you gonna go read the Quran? Are you gonna go
Right.
read the Torah? Like, like there and like what where are you gonna draw the similarities between them or the differences? And then what are we gonna say? Where are we gonna talk about that then?
Correct. Right. Which, most religious leaders are not even from here. So you're going to
Mhm.
tell me that, like, they're not human, they're aliens. So what are you like? Jesus is not from here. So he is
No.
not, he was not, he was a human, but he was not from here. He was just here in human
No, he
form.
was not American. I will tell you
Right.
that.
Not,
He's not American.
he was not here, he's just, and then he went back, so how did he do that? Like, I just have so many questions when you read it. It's like, how did he ascend? Did something come get him? Did he just like hit his technology stick and it took him in the air? Like, how did he get up there?
Or like this is also like
Everything.
a very funny hot take, and I hope this doesn't offend too many people, but like, what if he was the first ghost? And like
Ah,
he came back and he was like, behold, I have stories for you
I
if you
don't
don't die.
He
know.
kind
Like,
of was.
Ain't no
what?
way.
He kind of was, though. I mean, if you think about it, like he's always there, but you can't see him. Like he was the
Hmm.
first creation. Like, well, if he was
That's
the first
that's what's
creation
fun
and he's
about
not
this.
here anymore, then what is he now? If he's still living and all
Like
being and
it
all,
is always weird to
like, what
think
is he
Like,
that
then?
he's
religion
like an
and
energy
paranormal.
almost. Like, he's like an energy almost. He can be everywhere. Like, he has all the powers. He can, like, God, the divine being, God, whatever you want to call him, he has like the ultimate power. Like, he has everything. Like, he's the highest being. But then you have Jesus, who is his son, who was a high being too. So it's like, I think he had some technology as well, you know.
Yeah, and I mean it could also be that these people have unlocked, like that level of spiritualness that we have not, or maybe we've lost the that ableness to because like over time, like adaptation theory is real and like
Mhm.
animals and other living organisms do adapt to their surroundings over time. Like that's why everybody like looks different when you go to different parts of the earth. Like
Correct.
it just happens. So maybe back in the day, like that spiritualness was like more. I don't even know like how to say it, like a tuning fork, where it's like it's more in tune then, and now everybody's more
They were
out
more like tapped
of
in.
whack.
They really didn't
Yeah,
have anything to stop them. It was like religion, the old religion where you had rituals and prayed and you had more than one
yeah,
God.
and it's like there was probably paranormal stuff going on during all of this too. But like, how do they
Yes.
derive or how like how do you discern that at that stage in existence? You probably can't really. Where you just go, that pot shouldn't have just picked itself up and floated, but like, all right, Ezekiel,
Or they called it
of
something
course
else,
then.
like, or they referenced it like a dragon when it wasn't a
Yeah,
dragon. It was a UFO, but they called it
mhm,
a dragon because they didn't know it was a UFO. It's
exactly.
like
Yeah,
a
or
lot
a
of
flying ship.
symbolism too. Yes.
Light, what is light? Fire? Like that's all they would have known. They wouldn't have thought like a
Yeah,
freaking
like why
light.
is the night sky burning as bright as like the morning sun?
Right.
Oh, maybe because there is a complete like crazy event going on that you guys just documented and that we have for us to look at and read
Mhm.
right now, and we just are not reading between lines that are literally there to be read between.
They said it like, but some people will say, well, I don't know. I don't know. It's just
Gosh, the ghost dog's always coming in with the
Mr.
wild
Creep,
takes, but I love them.
listen. This is how I keep all of my peasants underneath
right.
me.
He like, look, I am the technology. Okay, like some of the aliens could
He's
be
just
the
got all the
technology.
drip. Like he's already got he's got the iPhone 16 already.
Yes,
He's got
Ezekiel
like
for sure saw a
he's got the
UFO, and
Ray-Bans with the like the in built-in like metaverse already. Like he's plugged in,
Mhm.
dog.
I want to know, like, what is AI? Is that an alien? Like, I don't
Oh
know. Like,
god.
I'm trying to figure out what is AI. Like, is
It's
AI an
scary.
alien?
AI. I
It's
think
scary.
AI
Is
is
it an
kind of
alien force? Is it an alien
It
species?
does actually seem very alien to me. Where yeah, we might have been developing it for a long time, but like the concept of like
an intelligence that doesn't have a
turning
physical
a
engine.
software into its own artificially intelligent, self-sustaining self.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wild concept.
Where it can one day take somebody's job.
Oh yeah, and like granted, I don't like hate the idea of implementing it here and there where you can make your workflow a lot easier, which I've seen it work for us in like the video creating software field and like certain things like that. But like, yeah, you're right. Like if you start
What it is.
letting it go crazy, I feel like it could turn into a bad thing. But also, if you were to give AI the prompt, like here is the access to everything you would ever need all over the internet, all the information all at once that is all derived from wherever it gets it from. All right, now fix the debt. Just fix, America's debt problem. And then it just it does, because that's AI.
like yeah, would it be that simple to where you a program to like do this and then wait?
I'm sure there's a lot more code.
I know it wouldn't be like a snap.
That's what you have to wait, because everyone gets like, if you're an inventor, you get downloads, so I guess we gotta wait for the next download to see where it takes us and who gets the download. I guess it depends on what they want us to know. They'll release the technology as they see fit.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's dumb too, because like there's like little things you can do. Like if we take our YouTube, for instance, and we type in like after the HTML link or whatever it is, however you say it, like you type in just like a couple words, or it's like a command basically where it's just like something subscribe basically, or like sub like something / ::, and it'll give it a prompt to when people click on your channel, it'll pop up a certain button on YouTube that just doesn't do it automatically for you and has no setting for it. Like, yeah, it's like, am I like writing code now into my taskbar? Like, what is happening?
Right in it, and then the phone as well. Because I'm like, how did the phone know where I was? Like,
yeah,
the phone,
like the ad shit is kind of creepy to me.
That is the one thing that terrifies me, is
the accuracy.
These companies are able to use AI to like literally, I bet you I go on Facebook and I see things that we've talked about today.
For sure.
Yeah, probably.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Like, I can literally download an app right now and I can sing to you guys and be like take me home country roads or something. And then I can be like, I want to sound exactly like Elton John. Hit a button and I will sound exactly like Elton John because AI decided to like change my voice for me. Like,
or I want to sound like Snoop Dogg, because who wouldn't want to sound like Snoop Dogg? Right. Literally, you can have the AI.
You want to sound like Snoop.
Right? Like,
because he's the D-O-double-G. God damn it.
Yeah. D-O-double-G, D-O-double-G. Sorry, I was getting excited. Love me some Snoop.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I just want to know what, AI is. I just want to know what it is, because you're right. I could look up dogs today and tomorrow dogs will flood my phone. Like, how did it know
100%
dogs? How do it know the last number I call? How it's like your phone is tuned into you almost.
It's almost became like an extension of our own selves in a way. Like we have this, I think it was talked like on Joe Rogan before. I heard him kind of talking about this, and I think it was with Mike deGrasse Tyson. I like the phone is so Mike
Neil deGrasse, Mike yeah, we'll just say whatever. Mike Tyson.
Like it's almost like you have infinite knowledge at your fingertips. You can do basically anything that we thought took millions of dollars to do. Create a show, for instance. Like we can do that. Anyone can do that.
Yeah.
And before it took money, time, and
no.
Sorry, I'm like this.
That's weird.
That was weird.
But I was looking at the cat.
Like
I know, he's doing cat things.
As humans, we're like so connected to our phones now. Like they are almost actually part of our identity because they know so much about us too. They hold all of our personal information.
Yeah. And the amount that I see people in public that will just like completely disregard what's going on around them for their phones is incredible.
I have to be mindful of that.
I try not to like as much as like it is hard to be an influencer too or like a content creator and like
You're always on your phone. You can't get
like
off.
you want to be there for everybody. It gets so overwhelming to the point where it's like I like my privacy and like my like chillness, but fuck, I have to.
And we
do
all
this.
know the negativity is out there on the internet too, and like
that's
I'm
what
a
got me off
positive
Facebook.
person. I try
For
to stay away
sure.
from the negativity.
The drama and the crazy shit I see on Facebook is completely what did it for me. I will never go back to Facebook. I'll use Messenger all day long, and I guess my profile is up, but I don't use Facebook.
You don't use it. Well, let me see. I don't really use mine either. I kind of like Instagram.
Yeah, I enjoy Instagram just enough and Twitter sometimes, but also Twitter is a fucking battlefield. And I think it's really funny because I don't say a goddamn thing on it usually, but it is a war zone, and I love to see it hide in the craters where it's like, dude, what's happening?
It's crazy over on X.
Yeah, Elon got that shit.
Remembering that it's called X. I'm like, it's called X.
It's still fucking Twitter to me.
I
Like,
know.
give me back my bird.
Twitter. I can't call it anything else. I know Twitter. I'm not good with all of that. I'm like old school.
If MySpace was still popular, I'd go back. I would go back to MySpace.
I loved my MySpace. I loved MySpace.
I used to have the coolest fucking pictures, but like it would be like collages, but like in a bunch of different colors. And I would wear my hats like this because I was way cool. And it's like, wow, that was embarrassing.
MySpace was good.
Man, they changed the game.
Yeah, I'm old school. I can't. I'm not good with all of this. Like I'm not good with all this social media. I'm just now learning. So it's like I have to get used to all of this.
It's crazy too how much it plays into like wanting to do like any type of content creation, like especially like YouTube. Like you have to use a ton of your time just promoting. Not even making the content. Like it is a ton of like, if people don't know where to find it, they're not going to. That's just how YouTube and other things work. Like they will not promote for you. You have to put in the legwork.
You have to put it, and the more you post, the more you're seen. So
I've actually found the more you post, the less you're seen.
It's sometimes like that's the shadow ban theory from TikTok too, though. Like, I don't get it.
Because I was talking to my friend today, and she said, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to start posting 5 days a week, I'm going to start posting 5 days a week.
What, every work day?
And she looked at me and said, 5 days a week, 6 times a day. I'm like, oh.
No.
There's no way I could even do that.
That's unhuman. That's unhuman.
I don't even know what to say 6 times a day. What am I supposed to say?
I've cut back our posting quite a bit. I think I only post like maybe once a week now, but I share the same post every day. That way it's still relevant in people's thoughts. But
plus all the homies got shit coming out too, so it's like, yo, they need them flowers because they got some cool shit going on, and everybody needs to see this. Because I mean, realistically, the best part about the paranormal scene is like everybody probably has seen everybody else's stuff too. Like if you've seen our stuff, you've probably seen some like our friends' stuff that like, maybe they live in Texas or maybe they live in Maryland. It's like, well, it doesn't mean that we haven't talked to them or like had some type of like connection with them. So it's like, it's always fun to like just, all right, here we go, guys. Like everybody's catching stuff everywhere all the time, and it's all unique and cool in its own rights. Like you need to see it.
I think we need to like work together, and it's only so many of us. Like it's not it seems like a big community, but it's not. Like how could we? I'm just waiting for someone to have like a party or something where we all can come and investigate. I think we need like a group investigation.
I've been screaming from the top of my lungs that we need to get a gigantic asylum like Pennhurst or something where it's just massive, and we just get like a good group of like 50 people together, and then we split up, like in groups and like do like a cookout, hangout outside, and then everybody like, like all right, go in for 2 hours, like come out, take your break, hang out with some people, and then like we'll switch and everybody goes to different sides, like I mean that would be fun. And it was done with like Eloise and stuff when we went and did our investigations there with Ghost Hunts USA, but they did it poopy because they oversold instead of kept it at a good number where it's like, no, if we want like groups of like 5 to like 8 people to investigate, areas, like that makes a lot more sense than like 25
The
people.
location for convention investigations has to be
Big.
big,
Like ridiculously big,
like unfathomably big almost. Because
I feel like a complex of many buildings was probably the most like
I
prime
think you could
location.
like do it. I think if we promote it, we could get like 50 people.
Me
with somebody that's not as scared as I am.
Right. Well, me personally, I've gone to a few, which like it's coming up actually.
Ghost-orama.
Yep, which is going to be in southern Michigan and in Indiana this coming summertime, and like when the weather turns again for the better. But they do, like an investigation at the end of the night. They let investigators like us or like other, promoters or producers and other booths that sell stuff. Other creators, thank you. I couldn't think of the word after I just said it like 5 minutes ago. But they put up booths and everybody mingles, and it's a great time. And then at the end of the night, we all go up and we do our thing and investigate. And like, that's how I met those dweebs actually, who were in the chat. Like awesome experience, like I learned from them, they learned from me. Like we found radiated glass that had like basically like, what was it, like plutonium in it or something back when, I'm sorry, I said it like you were here. Like I was thinking like trying to say it's Jenna, but Jenna's not here. But it's like it had something that made it radiate, and like energy basically. And it's like, oh, that's like glass that they made with like not the right substances before they changed it. So it's just like it's experiences like that where you get to like make new friends and like experience those things together. And it's like now I have a new core memory unlocked, and I'm so here for it.
I think we can do it. We just have to promote it like at some point. I think we should do like a group. That would be, I'm sure something would jump off with all of us there.
And it's a lot more popular than you think too. Like there are a few conventions that I know of that are pretty big. Like they're called Paracons, I guess, right? Is that what they're called? And like there's one at like the casino here. It's like Soaring Eagle, right? Yeah. And they put it in their convention center, which is actually pretty big, and it draws a pretty large crowd. And a lot of big name creators.
The biggest one is Paracon in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. That's like the big one. Like all of the famous like ghost hunters go to that.
Yeah, so like there are editions of it, but like I want it to be like what goes bump in the night, like hosted like Paracon.
For sure. Man, yes.
Help us get there, people. We need 10,000 subs.
The road to 10K has been lively.
Let's get it. I think that would be a good idea. I'm gonna have to check it. I'm gonna have to keep
up with the connections we've made having this show and all of our guests and everything. Like we could definitely put together some type of
because not only have we got to interview
so many of us,
45 different groups now. I think it's somewhere in that range, like about 40 to 45 different people that are all around the states that all have different locations that they've gotten to investigate and different ties to places. And it's like realistically, I think we would have a pretty good shot at trying to get something together somewhere eventually when everybody's ready or whatnot, and like if logistics wise it all worked out.
I would like that. I would come for sure. But just maybe
that's what we pivot from the Kickstarter for the trip to a Paracon.
No, but I didn't know that all of that goes down in Michigan. Like I'm gonna have to keep up with you guys. You can tell me
when the Great Lakes states are popping up here.
We know of Paracons, like our good friend Eric Freeman Sims. He's the host of the Unseen Paranormal podcast. He runs paranormal conventions all of the time in Tennessee. Like in Tennessee, he is the paranormal man. Like if you want to do anything ghost related in Tennessee, you got to hit up Eric Freeman Sims. That ain't far from you at all.
Eric Freeman.
Yep, Eric Freeman Sims.
Okay.
Yeah, he's always hosting conventions and things like that.
Super awesome. Love that guy so much.
Yeah, he's the homie.
Man, I can't wait.
It's so much fun though. Like paranormal is seriously the greatest thing ever.
It is.
And it's like just being able to like experience these things with friends and then sit there and then be like, for I don't know how many years now have we talked about the same things over and over again, and it never gets old.
Yeah.
It's like your life at some point. Like, I don't know
Shout
if
out,
people
like,
realize, but
we
I
didn't-
take it for real. It's serious.
Right.
It's what I do for a living.
we didn't even mention this, but like it's literally been the 13th, I think wasn't it 13th?
Yeah, I think it was the 13th.
Was the 5-year anniversary of our first episode.
Yeah, where we finally
like,
decided to pull the trigger.
We've been doing this podcast
Congratulations.
for 5 years. Like we haven't even hit
That's a
200
long
episodes
time.
yet, which is
Mhm.
kind of crazy. 5 years, not even 200 episodes, but like
We've also been sporadic as shit at the beginning of it.
yeah, the beginning of it was hard to find like a schedule, you know, like we were just doing it for fun. So when we got to doing episodes, we did episodes. But now it's become like so much more than that to us. Like it's became like
Now
a
the
lifestyle
YouTube is
almost.
like, it's like, all right, this is also like very important to us too, where it's like
Yeah.
we really like the documentary style. Like
Mhm.
we don't want to get away from the podcasting formats that we've done, but
Oh,
like
no.
we've done so many different series and like the 160 or so episodes prior to us doing these interviews. It's like, ooh, kind of want to get back to those eventually, because there's some really fun topics that we've talked about that I don't remember a goddamn thing because there were so many after it too.
So you got to go back into it.
Yeah, and it's like there's probably a lot of part twos that need to come back where there's like new stuff that was like brought
Right.
to light.
Like I can just run over some of the series that we've done.
The Dietlef
Oh,
Pass
please.
one is one
Like,
of mine that
I'm
lives
gonna do that.
lately.
If you're into creepypastas, we used to do
A full series of us
series.
reading.
Thanks. Gosh, I had a brain
good.
fart there. A series called Does It Go Bump, where we read creepypastas, and at the end we decided
If
if
it
this
sucked or
story
not.
bump or not.
Mhm.
And we gave it our beautiful
Because all we didn't understand how to use the board yet, and we
didn't even have one.
Well, yeah, well, we didn't. Now that we have like the pads and stuff, we would just do mouth noises, and it's still more fun to do mouth noises.
Then we did this series called the Black Vault Files when those got released to the public, where we read some of the like alien encounters and actual files from inside of the Black Vault file. We did
We have
10
to
or
do
12
a part two
episodes
of
of
that.
those.
Yep. Yeah, we did like 10 episodes of it too, where we were like pulling like the documents off of their disclosed website basically, and it's like I don't even understand what they're saying.
Wow. Y'all
Then
got
we
some heavy
did
hitters.
Mhm.
What else you got? What
A
else?
lot of the topics too.
SCP
Yeah,
files.
the SCPs are really fun. Secure, contain, protect. Love those.
they're basically like
It's just like
fiction stories.
yeah, it's
but,
like goosebump stories, like condensed and scarier, like grown-up version, and there's almost like 10,000 of them.
It's actually endless.
Yeah, it is. I feel like it's probably just being AI generated at this point, but there's a lot of cool ones too. Like there's the Plague Doctor, which they goes really into depth about it being like basically like an undead like doctor that kills
These
people.
files are
Fucking nuts.
so crazy
Oh,
that when we
man.
found them, we thought they were real.
Yeah, we completely were bamboozled at
because we
first.
found this file on Wendigos and we thought it was a real story about a Wendigo. And then
because it is a
come
real
later.
thing.
And then
It-
come
it
later, we were
is.
like, oh, this is not actually.
Yeah,
a
and then
story.
Riley was like, "Yeah, those dudes, the IKEA story." Riley was like, "I read a story about IKEA today," and I said, "What? Like, tell me about this."
IKEA.
Yeah,
It's
so
a fucking terrifying story
it's
too.
so terrifying. So like, it's this theory that there's a bunch of IKEAs that look like normal IKEAs, and they are normal like IKEAs. But if you go into them, there's like this gap where you go into an infinite IKEA. that
You
goes
break
on
the
forever,
dimensional door.
and you get stuck in it, and you can't ever leave. And so many people are stuck inside of this IKEA that they have formed a community inside of the IKEA.
What?
And then there's these like faceless humanoid creatures named Jim that are dressed in IKEA work clothes. And during the day, they work like they're IKEA workers. But at night, they turn into like bloodthirsty demons.
Yeah, and like
That'd be true.
you would live in that cycle, and you would build your like bases basically, and then you would come out, and everything would be normal throughout the day, but you just couldn't leave. Like what the fuck?
It's
That sounds like
crazy.
something would be on like the Twilight Zone.
IKEA,
You can't
yeah.
Yeah.
tell
Oh, and
me.
then we read another one too, where it was like the abdominal planet. Well, I kept reading it wrong, and I was like the abominable, like it's like it's a yeti. Like what the fuck is
Right.
it? It's a planet with legs walking around. Like, no, it was literally this. I guess it was like a dude our age that had no stomach or entrails, basically. And he had a full-fledged planet like in his stomach that was just like sustaining like life on it. And it's like, what are we reading? Like, what is this?
Like, what realm were you in? Like, who?
Like, how much LSD did you take to just get on this line of thought?
How? Like, what did you take? Like,
Yeah,
what?
or like we did our
A-
Monster Mash series was pretty fun too.
Yeah, Monster Mash. And then there was
That's
AI
cool.
generated stories. So we
Oh,
generate
yeah.
stories through AI.
Oh, you did talk about AI.
Yeah,
I'm
we would
gonna-
let them write stories for us though, and we'd read them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them are fucked.
Yeah, some of
The
them are
Skin
really in
Jacket
depth.
Stalker, by far one of the scariest like stories I think we've ever read. And like that was my idea that AI turned into
And it was
something.
before the AI was refined to do it better now. So it's
So,
like
I
it
went
was
in and
rough, but it was great.
I fixed it up a little bit and threw some sugar and spice in there, but
Yeah, 'cause they
It was
say
not
you
nice.
most of it was not.
yeah, because it's not always accurate or whatever. But I tried AI. I kind of was like, give me an outline of ancient Egypt just to see what it'll say.
And it just bam, tons
Oh,
of shit.
I'm like, what? How did AI know how to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the kids in school because like we had like Wolfram Alpha, so like if you were completely stuck in geometry and shit, like you could plug that in there.
Go to tutor, and that's about all we
Yeah,
had.
see, like I at the end of my high school career, I found that, and I was like, I'm getting through fucking like calc. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, and then we have stories that I wrote, like creepypastas that I wrote. We read one of them on a boat.
A boat. That was fun.
This past summer, we reread it on a boat, and it like was
Really?
the actual like setting of where I
Where the
based
story
stories
was,
based
yeah.
off of. So it was really cool to like interconnect those things.
Yep.
I think I wrote the stories I wrote were mythical woods of West Michigan, and then I wrote Michigan the Leviathan, and then I wrote the books in the basement. I think that I only
Books
wrote
in
three,
the
right?
basement sounds scary.
That was, I think that was probably his
the
best
other
work.
one, the haunted doll. What did I?
Oh, I don't
forget
remember
what
what
I
you named
named
it.
that one, but the
The
doll of
Haunted
torment. I
Dog?
wrote that. The doll of torment.
Yep.
That one. That story's fucked. I got really dark on that one. I ain't gonna lie. Really.
It's kind of weird what kind of headspace you go into when you like start writing stuff like that.
I
too. 'Cause,
love.
like,
I like it. I like it.
I
all.
play a lot of D&D, so like I'll get into like the D&D side of it where it's like, all right, now I'm in like a completely different realm and like everything's got to be a fucking dark and dungy and creepy.
And then, of course, we can't forget our true crime.
Yeah, the true crime stuff is always fun. Like we did the Black Dahlia. We also did cults, like Jim Jones. Like we did a deep dive on the Jim Jones. And everything. It was wild.
The cult is something else.
I'm still blown away that it's so.
Oh, it's the doll of torment. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that
The
story's
doll of
fucked.
torment. Okay.
Because
I
he
gotta
grew
check
up in a house full of dolls too.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I'll give you a little
Make me
synapse of the
shake.
story.
Yeah,
So it's about a
give me-
paranormal investigator who bought a doll at like a flea market, and he didn't know it was a haunted doll. He just thought it was a creepy doll, and it ended up being a haunted doll that had like this drive and thirst for power, and he would like return and it wouldn't be in its case, and then he'd find it in the basement lined up in like this, having all of his haunted objects in a ritualistic thing, and then like him basically at the end he does some terrible things and he blames it all on the doll.
Oh
yeah!
Wow! What?
It's crazy.
I have to get a hold of that. I want to read that or listen to it or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta go listen to it on our Spotify. It's incredible.
Okay.
I think I might have read it live too.
I don't remember.
It's
I'm
way
gonna
better to listen
find
to
it.
as a podcast.
Yeah, I mean that, and that's just like tip of the iceberg too, because like we've covered so many different topics outside of just that, like just like haunted locations, objects, you know, like anything under the sun that was just like a creepy oddity, basically. It's like I'm a firm believer in like anything is real until it's not. Like if you can prove to me that something isn't real, then yeah.
I'll listen to anything. Like I'll listen. Like I love points of views. I don't know. I
Yeah.
like to hear what people think and what they believe about certain things. So if you talk to me, I'm like the perfect person because I'm gonna listen. I won't say one word unless you want to debate with me. Other than that, I'll listen all day.
Right.
You,
A little
you,
ironic too. Riley found the episode.
Doll of Torment is episode
I want to hear it.
121, our 4th anniversary episode.
Yeah, so it's weird that it's like, it lined up to be the 4th and the 5th anniversary of it.
Fourth, and look, I'm writing this down. So it's episode 121. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna check it out. I want to see
I
it.
don't think there's any audio fuck ups in that one.
No,
We went through many editions of us sounding absolutely ass and not. Where it's like the beginning of the podcast, it's like we sound like we're underwater because we had no idea what we were doing yet. And then it gets a little better and a little better.
Wow.
Yeah, and then now it sounds good and everything, but also like we're so good at it that we just like overlook things. It's like one episode I had the Bluetooth enabled on the board and I gave my daughter my phone and she was watching Bluey. And it was playing Bluey through this everybody's speakers at home watching.
We had
our
no
interview.
idea.
Nobody said anything either for a
What?
long
20 minutes.
Yeah, and then they were like, "Did anyone else hear that music?" And they were like, "I thought it was just a choice." And I was like, "No, that's Bluey." Like, sorry.
And look at you now. You guys are like,
Oh, that wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah,
never-
that was
you
pretty
can't
recent.
edit anything. Like I don't know how to do any of that. I am not a techie.
YouTube
usually-
University.
Yeah, we usually YouTube. But, like, I found a dude that like made a specific macro for podcasters for Audacity. So like, I just press one button and then just add other things around it and press one more button. So it's not as bad as it seems. It
What?
used to be worse. Yeah, it used to be a lot more like in depth. I'd have to watch video after video to like, all right, now I have to make the sound like compressed. Then I have to take the noise gate down. Then I got to do this. It's like, nah, I found somebody that did it for me.
Wow, I have just no idea. I don't know what I'm gonna do on social media. I might
I just,
I'm
for
playing.
me,
Just
I
like
honestly
oh,
have just
something.
always just downloaded different apps and played with them. If I didn't like them, I would just try a different one that made sense to me.
Mhm.
And then if I wanted to get deeper into it, I guarantee you someone's made a YouTube video of trying to do exactly what you're thinking about.
Probably.
And then you just type it in on YouTube and someone teaches you how to do it and you sit there and you watch them and you do it as they're doing it and then it's in your memory forever.
See, for me, it's like social media itself is like if I post something and I don't spell something right, or like it comes out and I sound like an idiot, like that's on me, man. I don't want that. I don't even post because of it.
Not me, right? But then it's like if you don't post, then how would anyone?
I always like to say where it's like I'm just like tall, dark, and mysterious. Like if you want to know, message me. Like I don't know.
I'm like, if anybody watching me think and they wonder if I'm spiritual, bougie, ghetto, a professional, I'm all that. Just
it's all under the same bow.
I'm just really a goofball. Like everybody that know me knows that I'm just crazy. I just like
That's what we always say too. Is we're just unapologetically ourselves all the time. Where it's like what you see here is like what you'll see outside of this.
Exactly. If you meet me in person, I'm the same way. Like
yeah, like we might get a little more focused on what's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you want to like discuss aliens or paranormal or something, then be ready because my thoughts are probably thoughts that you would probably have to think about later. Like, what did she say? Like, I try to get people to think.
I mean, the first time I said Bigfoot was an alien, I got so many looks around, like, because I said it to my wife in public. People like, took a double take, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm that guy, dude. I don't care. Like, I literally don't care.
Don't care. I don't care. I mean, my uncle was the greatest debater I could have ever had. Like, I was debating with him since I was 5. So it's like, what can you debate me on? Like, he was like the best debater because he would debate me down. Every time I asked him, like, who built the pyramids? God did. I'm like, are you serious?
That's not how that happens.
I'm like, now
the righteous hand of God.
Like, you can't tell somebody like me that. I need more information. Like, God.
That's how I always feel too, where it's like if you give me the most like minute detail, I will either suss it out or I will like find a way to know. Where it's like my wife does this to me every Christmas. She'll be like, "I got you a present today. Do you want it early?" I'll be like, "No, don't fucking do this to me again this year." And then she'll be like, so you know how you like this? And it's like, yeah, why are you telling me that? Why are you talking to me about this? And then she'll ask me something other, like something random. Like I think she asked me like if I knew who Vladimir Konstantinov was. And she also earlier in that conversation said she went to the bookstore earlier that day. And I was like, please stop talking. Like, I know you got me a book of Vladimir Konstantinov. Sure as shit, she got me a book called Vlad the Impaler. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm super excited about this. I cannot wait to read it. But like, you cannot do this. I will figure it out so fast.
You will figure it out. Isn't it like, I like books. Like, I don't know. For me, I'll take a subject and beat it down. Like, I'm not satisfied until I feel like I know enough.
Yeah,
Like,
until
I'll take
I'm
the
like
subject
bored
and
of the topic completely. Like
I'll
I
go
need to
down.
get every nugget.
Yeah. I'll go down a rabbit hole.
I do like being visually stimulated too. So I think that's where it also like the paranormal field has been like super awesome because like there's a lot of like book work you can do where if you want to learn about these locations, yeah, do your diligence, go online, read about it, you know, like take some notes if you really want to be like very like pertinent about it. But
Mhm.
if you want to like also learn about these places, watch the homies videos. People will include the history in it, whether it's correct or incorrect or good or bad, doesn't matter. But like there will be history in it. And then you'll also see the location itself and what is happening because the building will speak for itself.
For sure. Yep. It will speak for itself if you dare.
Yeah, if you prompt it enough.
If you dare step into the realm of the paranormal. You know, it's like people are so scared, but I'm like, I'm sure almost everyone has had at least one paranormal.
I would think so. Whether you know it was or wasn't too.
It
I
was
think it
right.
does.
And a paranormal could be a miracle. That's like that's all out of the realm of possibility, which is a
Right.
miracle.
Like the
It's
Lions winning a playoff game.
Yep.
That was paranormal. It doesn't happen. We've never
It
seen
just
it
doesn't
before.
happen.
Go Bears! Go Bears!
Justin Fields, man, he needs help.
It's not his fault.
It's not.
No, I like Fields.
It's the
I think
offensive
he's a
line's
good
fault.
quarterback. I think that he can make it. I'm just too mad. I don't even know what to do. If they get rid of him, I'm done.
That's kind of how I feel about it too. Where it's like just get him an offensive line, like they'll
Please.
be fine.
But I'm like, I can't even watch the draft because if I see them F up and pick something they're not supposed to, I'm gonna be pissed. So I don't even know right now what to do. I'm a big
we can do no wrong as Lions fans. It feels like where it's just like I'm living on cloud fucking 9.
I
The
know
San
you
Antonio
guys are
Rebels
so happy.
so up here.
I know you guys are happy. You guys are
I've
playing.
lived my whole life being such a diehard fan. And it's like watching them lose a whole season, watching every single game of that season, and like just hoping to see them make the playoffs and win a game finally. And it's like some people have died hoping to see this. Like I am privileged as fuck.
You are privileged. They might be here to stay. I just hope, the Bears come on and do something, but we'll
I would
see.
love to see like the NFC just absolutely dog walk the AFC all year. And like the NFC flips where it's like now the powerhouses are on this side of the fucking US.
It used to be that way. Like what happened? My gosh. But Tom
Poor
Brady.
coaching and a bunch of idiots.
Hey, I know you're a Bears fan, so you gotta feel the same. But Green Bay is scary right now. Ain't gonna lie. Green Bay is kind of scary right now.
I can't even deal with Green Bay. They're like the ultimate rival. Like
they are. They're ultimate
can't
team
even
day.
deal.
They're the ultimate team day.
I wanted Dak to take them out, but that did not.
They did not show up.
So I don't even know what happened.
Gazy team I've seen in a long time where it's just like you guys were so hyped up.
They got their
40
karma.
points
They
on
got
a
their karma
fucking game.
effing over our
And it's like so funny because the fans are heartbroken. Like it's so
Oh,
funny.
Jerry was devastated.
I've never seen an owner go to the mic like that. I'm like, he will go to the mic and stand there like, hey, you know.
But you got Motor City Dan over here, like, means to the city.
I know. He's like, you
And
know,
it's like, that gets me so fucking passionate for football.
I was rolling my ass like, oh, just what?
It's
See,
like, you gotta get yourselves a dog. Get yourselves a dog in there and you'll be fine.
I'll support the Lions only because the Bears is out. You know,
I'll sentiment that. That's what I normally do, where it's like, all my teams are out. I'll root for the closest.
like I gotta root for someone, or I'm not gonna have any fun. Like I have to have fun, so I have to root for somebody. So when my team go out
this week,
you know, it was Tom Brady. That is my number one quarterback. So now that he is gone, I have
See,
to.
I hate and love Tom Brady.
he was a Michigan man, but he carved up the Lions for way too many years.
Yeah.
No, he carved up everybody. Everybody.
Plus, I got real bored of watching Tom Brady in every Super Bowl for the last 10 fucking years.
See, for me, it was fun. I would go to work bragging. But then when he lose, it was over. I would have a desk full of just whatever. Like it was bad.
But yeah, before we run too far along on the football train, I do.
Oh, sorry,
You're good.
You're good.
2 hours. We could easily go for a lot longer,
Yeah.
but it's like I need to think of better questions because man, we hit on some really fun topics, but it's like we barely even scratched like enough of the surface.
Oh man. Well, you guys just let me know and now hop back on.
Heck yeah, this has been so much fun.
It
You are
really
so much
is.
fun to talk to.
Yeah, this is a
You guys are fun.
fantastic.
You guys are some deep thinkers. I'm gonna have to like keep up so that I can
And it's
come
like
there.
the amoeba that is the brain that like I feel like cohesively will work between us, just like changes weekly where it's like, oh, I had a thought. What if this and that? It's like, bruh, you just changed the whole damn game.
I think if you guys like continue to like go deep and down a rabbit hole, man, like that was awesome. You guys are like philosophers almost.
I'll say that, and that's many episodes of doing it too, where it's like I think we just kind of like we found that little niche, like where it's like I think that's where
theories.
we're good at that.
Fun topic to talk about because it's
like philosophers.
Yeah, like
You
how
guys
do you
are
not
like
enjoy going like what it?
Yeah.
You guys are like deep thinkers. I can't wait to see what you guys do. I'm going to keep up with you every step of the way. I am subscribing to everything, paying for everything.
Awesome.
So I will be there. Just
Heck
let
yeah.
me know when you need me. And
yeah,
when you're
you
coming here.
Oh, definitely we're gonna make it happen. I just don't know how soon we can make it happen financially.
It'll happen one day.
It'll happen
Just
organically.
keep it in the forefront.
That's how
You're
I
right.
always look at it.
Mhm.
But with that being said, folks, remember to keep your ears and eyes open for it really goes.
Bump in the night.
Peace.
Bye, friends.